Hi, it's Nancy with a Scroll in the Garden. What a full, busy spring we've had, and we're ready for summer. Hopefully summer will be a little less busy, but I'm sure it'll find its own things to keep us occupied. But we have done an extremely lot. We've cleaned out so much garden debris out of the garden, redid several pots, redid all the annuals. We ordered more perennials and put those in. I know you can't really tell it right now, but Lord willing, if I'm able to continue this and they grow up and you'll see them in the garden, you'll just think they're gorgeous if they make it, which hopefully they will. I didn't get to show you all the nurseries that I wanted to, but we'll try again to do that next year. And let's see, what all did we do? Just so much, and I'm so tired. I just want to just completely drop, but at the same time I'm ready to keep going because I'm excited with the accomplishment we've had this spring. Good morning. I told you that June is all about the lilies. Here's a few of them for you right here. I have a granddaughter named Lily, and she's painted some stuff in my garden for me, and I always think of her when I see this lily, because it's just different colors. It's just different. She can always painted things a little different than I would have ever imagined. Never solid color, just different. Beautiful though, very beautiful. And this is a Asiatic lily here, and then there's some more daylilies over here. I am just so glad. Here's a little daylily back here that broke off, but it's still going to bloom. How about that? I have been so glad that we've got the planting done. I had ordered some perennials this year, plus I was putting in my annuals, and it can be almost too much. I know people think, well, your yard is full of flowers. Why do you? What is there to do back there? But oh my! Except if you're a gardener, because that's a lot of that is bulbs, like these dahlias that are coming up here. They all have to be dug up in the fall and put back in the spring, and that is a job. All the annuals, like this in this pot right here, have to be totally replaced. There's a few annuals like these, with these beautiful gaillardia blanket flower that come back from seed, and these hollyhocks come back from seed once you get one. I had a terrible time actually getting one to grow from seed. I just didn't do it, so I finally got one. But once you get your one going, they just go ahead and drop seed and keep coming up. Here's another little reason I'm always having to, if you saw that bloom bag, I was wanting to squash it, but I didn't get that done. But there's just so much to do, and May is such a busy month, and then we also had weddings and graduations and so much to do, and then so much came in the garden, and like I told you, I have a bad knee, so that's just part of getting older. I've learned. Never stop learning. But just feeling a little bit like I'm allowing myself to go ahead and be tired. Look back here, there's a little culprit too that's been eating things in my garden. I'm going to have to put some carrots back in the little, I have a live trap back here somewhere, and take him farther down the road. But anyway, there's just always something going. But I have this a little bit of sense of relief, but it's also given me a sense of I can let it down now and not be so busy and so stressed. And I'm just about to totally quit. It's like I can't keep going anymore, but I know I will too, because that's just the way it is with the garden. You just get I need to talk about Lester Potter now, when I said that's just the way it is with the garden, because he used to live right across from us, and he would bring us okra and tomatoes, squash from his garden, and he had emphysema, and he was hooked to an oxygen tube, and he came out and did his garden. So that's the true gardener for you right there. Myself, I thought, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm so tired of it, and it's just a stressful thing. And then, well, actually, I never thought I wasn't going to garden, but I have thought I'm not going to do the DVDs anymore. It's just too stressful and too hard. And right now, they're not even selling, but I just still believe in them. I believe they're beautiful. I believe everybody should have one that loves the Lord, or that loves, I had to get some of these off. Isn't that beautiful? That looks like another one Lily would have painted for me. But I do think the DVDs are beautiful. I think everybody that used to watch the Gospel Jubilee should have one and should play it every Sunday morning. That's when I play mine. I play it every Sunday morning. I said I'm going to keep it alive myself if nobody else does. But I have had many compliments on it too. So yeah, I think you just have to be somewhat famous or something to get something actually selling. But if people get it that love the Lord or love nature and gardening, they're going to love it. This is another one of my favorite lilies. It kind of has a little different flair to it, instead of just opening full up. And then the little Stella D'Or yellow daylily is still a favorite, and it looks like it's a favorite to one of those stupid bloom bugs too. That I got that one off. I hear my black cowbirds, or whatever kind those are, making their little click, 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 which is horrible. They can take the serenity right out of a garden. We're coming up on another one of my favorite lilies, and here's some more of the Stella D'Or lilies too. They're always pretty. This is one of my favorites because it's huge. It's just so big, bigger than my hand, and so pretty, so bright and pretty. And there's another little one back there. And there's this. Isn't that gorgeous? And again, it's also very big. But as I was saying, once you finally get something done and you can relax, it feels like sometimes like you're just going to relax too much and not be able to get going again, which is kind of how I feel. Plus, I'm not a morning person, or I'm certainly not a night person. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. That's red. Beautiful red Gerber daisy, and with those pretty yellow petunias. I don't know if I showed you this pretty little black-eyed Susan. But I was also mentioning that one time I was not going to do my pictures for my DVDs and website, and channel, my YouTube channel, and so I just put the camera down and forgot about it for a few days. This has been a few years ago, and then I went outside and there was a new bloom, and without even thinking about it at all, I ran into the house and got the camera and took its picture. So then I realized what I had done, and I'm like, yeah, I cannot quit this. There's some things that God puts in your heart, and it's just a part of who you are, and what this is kind of what I've always wanted to do, and I have to believe that's actually what God has always wanted me to do. I think He's been preparing me for this all my life, because when I was a young teenager, we chopped cotton and peanuts, mostly peanuts, and then we moved pipe, and we actually pull bowls. So, not that I was ever good at that. I never was good at pulling bowls. I would not really make a hand, as they say. But I think all of that was getting me prepared, because you have to be able to stay out in the hot somewhat. We're heading into the really hot months ahead of us now. We still have gorgeous mornings, so if I can get myself out of bed, I can come out and enjoy it when it's a pretty morning like this, and you can still feel the cool air blowing on you. It feels so good. But it is very hard, especially for an old person, and I certainly didn't get to start this when I was young, because I had to work. I worked at one company for 38 years, and then I also worked as a waitress, doing job, after I did the field work with my father. I wouldn't take for any of that time, because it's time spent with him. He's the rock of my life outside of Christ, and inside of Christ and outside of Christ. He's just the rock of my life, and I love him so. He's always been encouraging to me. He's always loved me with an unconditional, wonderful love, and just, he's gone to heaven now, but I still think of him daily, because he's just so much a part of me. He's the part of me that makes me want to go on and put one foot and one step in front of the other. Not that I'm trying to elevate him up above Christ, but he is my example of Christ. He's just that wonderful of a man. One of those solid little quiet men that worked for their families and supported them, and didn't have a whole lot more than a pair of overalls and a new hat occasionally. But this little row right here has not done well this year, and I hate that, but hopefully we'll get it going again. I'm not sure what its problem was. It's just been so dry on it. I think this is a bat flower, but I'm not certain about that. If there's a little weed that looks like one, and it has thousands of little seeds on it, but I don't see any on this one. I think this is a pretty pink bat flower, so I'm hoping that it will be. But I was going to say that gardening can feel like all those physical jobs I ever did all rolled into one, because you're constantly having to chop weeds out of it, or pull weeds out of it, or put down weed control, landscaping. Well, thinking of paper, but fabric, landscaping fabric. You're having to do that. In the spring, you're having to clean it out, and you have bags and bags and bags, just like as if you were emptying bags for for pulling bowls after you pulled bowls and filled your sack. Because we take many of those off in the spring before we get this all cleaned out. But it's just like all that physical work all rolled into one. It's definitely a test of endurance, and my knee is giving out if the rest of me is not. But I'm still going to figure out a way. I think the Lord has a way for me, and I just need to find it, because I've heard lots of times when you get your knee worked on, or a knee replacement is what I need, that you can't get down on it to work like you did before. And I have to get down on my knees to garden. I just have to, so, or else figure out some other way. So I'm not real jumping on that knee replacement thing just yet. Let's see, we're coming up on another little lily that I put in this pot right here. Isn't that pretty? But anyway, I just wanted to share with you what's going on in the garden a little bit again. There's one of my little swallows, if you can see it. I don't know if it's in focus very well, but lot is going on. Just a whole lot is going on. Mostly the lilies. It's going to be getting overgrown. As you can see, I need to trim this trumpet vine. I need to trim the trumpet vine. It's just now starting to put out its little umbral blooms, and I know they can be a pain. Nobody wants one. But I think it's lovely, but it is a pain. It's coming up everywhere. I've got to get out here. That's another thing constantly you're doing is killing off invasive plants. And then the heat's going to come on. That's going to be the main thing to struggle with this summer, but it'll be worth it in the fall, especially if we have a good, long, pretty fall. Which hopefully we will. We had a really we didn't have much of a fall at all. We had an early frost last fall. The only thing that was left for fall were the perennials, and they were nipped a bit, but they came back through and looked good too. But of course all the annuals were gone. I love to have both the perennials and the annuals, because the perennials stay around, or stay and come back every year, and then the annuals don't, but they bloom the whole summer. So you have something in bloom all the time, like your petunias and geraniums. Something that's just going to continue showing bloom for you, like this Marguerite daisy right here. That's been a really good choice for this little pot. It's really looked good, and I've enjoyed it. Looks like, since we're talking about daylilies, I should go down this row. Of course, this is a hollyhock, and this is St. John's wort. But it's a lovely, lovely little plant too. This is beautiful little blooms that look like they have a fiber optic top to them. And just really pretty. And then as we go on down, oh look, I didn't show you the tall tree lilies are blooming. Isn't that pretty? And they smell wonderful too. I love that about them when you come in from outside. Let me get these off of here so it can look pretty for you. There, isn't that pretty? And then here's another one of those old bloom bugs that's going to destroy that bloom if I don't destroy it. Oh, I hate those things. I don't really like them on my hands either, but I surely don't want them on my flowers. That's a pretty little daylily there, and then this will be another tree lily, this one right here. And right behind it, there's just a bunch of lilies. I think this one is called Moses' Fire. Look at this little grouping this morning. Looks like almost all of them on the whole stalk bloomed. How pretty that is. And there's some more of the little yellow ones right behind here. And that sun is gonna bleach the color out for me this morning. There we go. You can see them better from this side. And there's those Mexican petunias, which are pretty, but as you can see, they put a whole row there and then another one on the other side and all around my Russian sage bush. I need to pull some of those up. I'm going to try to wait until we have a good soaking rain. I need to plant a few gladiola bulbs too, and the same thing on them. I'm hoping to wait until we have a good rain where it'll be easier to put those in the ground. So I wanted to point out these pretty balloon flowers, and then back here I have some pretty caladiums in that pot that are really showing off for me this morning. This is also something new that we purchased from Atwoods. I thought it was really cute. Let me get it in focus for you. It's just a little fountain. We set it by our garden swing. Also, we're in the front gardens now, but I wanted to show you this. If I'd have known it looked like this, I'd have got more than one of them. Look, the little catalysts, or whatever you call these, that come on the outside of it are red. I thought that was a pretty little chartreuse color anyway, but when it has red on the inside, I definitely would have got more than one of those. The petunias are looking pretty this morning. This little pot's looking pretty this morning too. Look, one of my seed petunias is blooming, and I noticed, I said there wasn't any coming up over here in this one, but now there are. Let's see if I can focus in. There's some of them. There's some around over here. I can get to where you can see them. Let's see if I can. There they are, right there. Another petunia bloom. And these little seedlings are getting bigger. Some more petunias fixing to bloom. And these are all from seed in this box. So that's exciting. I forgot what these little things are right here. I don't know what they are. They kind of look like a nataceous. Can't say that word. Natasterum. But I'm not sure. I forgot what I planted there. And I found another little bloom right here. Isn't that pretty? Bright and beautiful hibiscus bloom. Hi, it's Nancy with a Scroll in the Garden.
Psalm 139, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, 1-24. O Lord, Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my down-sitting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and art acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Lord, thou knowest it altogether. Thou hast beset me behind and before, and laid thine hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain unto it. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Or whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are thy thoughts unto me, O God, how great is the sum of them. If I should count them, they are more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with thee. Surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O God. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thine enemies take thy name in vain. Do I not hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Psalm 9, to the chief musician upon Muthlabben, a psalm of David, 1-20. I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou sattest in the throne judging right. hast rebuked the heathen, thou hast destroyed the wicked, thou hast put out their name forever and ever. O thou enemy, destructions are come to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities. Their memorial is perished with them. But the Lord shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment, and he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. For thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Sing praises to the Lord which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. Have mercy upon me, O Lord, consider my trouble, which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higgaion, Selah. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight.